G'day, welcome to the Inforunners. I'm Execute. Welcome to the first day of AIE. I'm joined by Space Tomato and Algared. I'll let you pick which one's the sexy one. Right. With that, yeah, we've had a quick perusal of the AIE. We're going to kick it over. What's your initial take on it, guys? I guess I'll kick it off to one of you.
Well, we've got a new alien ship.
Yes.
So that's good fun.
I'm going alien on you.
We're definitely going to do a buyer's guide on that very shortly.
We will.
It is proper alien too. I mean, we've done alien ships in this game before, and I think people have expressed that they don't feel quite alien enough. I haven't really seen what the general reaction to this is yet, but I feel like this one gets that feeling more. And then you can tell from the trailer that they're really trying to lean into it.
Yeah. 100% agree with that one. All right, we have to work around this because we've got everyone.
Actually, as it lands, it reminds me of the Vulcan ship landing in Star Trek.
Right, Algared, I'm going to move you over next to me for a bit, just so people can see the prices, and duck your head down a bit because you're a little bit tall. Wait, look, I'll make you a mini me. There you go. Yeah, there you go, next to me. Right, the Raelian, 225. How do you, Algared? What do you tell us about the Raelian?
It's an alien ship. It's a large cargo vessel compared to the starter. That's about all I can tell you at the moment.
Would you
have the same? I think it's going to have the same material finish when it comes out, which is really nice.
Yeah. Recommendation from you? You think it's worth the purchase, Space, or?
You know my answer.
Yeah. Space. So just off the bat, Space doesn't really buy spaceships at all. But
I will say this: I did spend $5 on a CCU for a C1. So
yep.
I'll put that out there. There you go.
Yep.
But I mean, this is
recommendation X.
Yeah, it depends on size, right? I don't even these ships are so like I get thrown off by them. I think they're bigger than they are. So is this a big ship?
This one is a large one. It's basically for someone that's into cargo running. This is essentially the blockade runner. It's what the Bannerman was originally designed as, but because that grew, this is its replacement, essentially. So if you're into blockade running and you want to kind of get through that rare cargo and do it in combat style, this is the ship for you. That's essentially what this ship is, right? At 225, I think it's actually quite cheap for an alien ship, believe it or not. So
yeah, for a ship that in the original brief was between a Freelancer Max and a Caterpillar. That's what they were trying to go for. So if you look at that and put it against Freelancer Max and Caterpillar, it's in the middle of those for pricing. But as our usual thing is, I usually say, look, if you're looking for best value and you're looking to CCU up, anything under $250 is usually a melt. And then so
it's a bit different. I think it's a bit different to that. It's a bit more case by case basis, and this one falls under that. But it does make it. I can safely recommend it if you want it.
This thing's definitely it's a late ship. It's a new manufacturer and it's alien design, so it's going to be one of the best made ships. Whenever it comes out. So like having the ship will be really nice, but we don't really know when it is going to come. Sounds like they're kind of hoping it'll be next year, but it also didn't show up on that 12-month slide in CitizenCon.
They did say they're working on it after the Santoki though, which is due in December. So that means it should probably be here hopefully here for next AIE.
All
right, I gotta cut you off. We got to move on because we've been talking about far too long. We've got way more ships to go. So the Saulian, I can't really talk about this much because we haven't had a chance to look at it yet. But at $70, I think it's way cheaper than we all expected. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
It's the most weaponized ship for a starter that we've ever seen.
For
size 3 and 12 size 2 missiles.
For the interior space you're getting, which to me looks like bigger than a Nomad, which I think comes in at $90 or something like that.
Yep.
This thing seems like it has a lot of space for what you're getting. Now, it doesn't have the cargo the Nomad has, only a 6 SCU, but this is, if you're not focused on carrying a lot of cargo, this is a pretty dang good deal, it seems like, especially considering their normal alien tax.
Yeah, for all the new people coming into the game, I think it's going to be snapped up pretty well. So yeah, I reckon this thing's going to, like the cutter did last year, essentially carry home the whole entire sale.
Yeah.
And it's clearly the LTI token. So yeah.
Yeah. If you want an LTI token, this is it. This is where
These are going to be flying around a lot for the next couple months. A lot of botched landings.
Especially with the vertical stuff.
Yeah.
Or new
Lunar Lander. Here it
Yeah.
comes.
Yeah. All right. I think that's it for. Yep, that's it. There's only 2 for attack, so we're moving on to Apoa. The Cartel Owl or the Council Algared. Tell us about it.
It's a ship built for human sale. The owl is Cheyenne for basically human. So it's a scout ship. It broke everyone's heart because originally it was sold as a 2-seater and came out as a 1-seater. It's the first one first look we had of the Ishan, of Ishan.
I think I'll add to that. We should eventually see a racing variant of this. There is actual models of it in lore, and I think it's in a bad place right now. It has improved over the years, but I think it needs a bit of love. But I think eventually it will be really, really good. And I do hope we eventually see that 2-seater variant you talked about. So yeah, Space. Your thoughts on the Kutzweil, please.
This ship's always sat in a weird place for me. It's a spectacular design, but it also at the same time is a little bit boring. And that might be because it's so old and we've seen it so much. But compared to what we're seeing from the Santok Yai and now the Suilin and even the Raylan concept, it feels like the newer models are more inspired and kind of flow a little bit better. So I agree with you. I think with the gold standard pass for this, I would expect to see maybe some slight tweaks to the geometry just to make it more in line with the newer ships we're seeing. But yeah, it's been our sole sort of like truly alien ship this whole time.
Yeah.
And the novelty has worn off. So
agreed.
I look forward to seeing how this thing getting updated might make it more interesting, but also, it's $170. What is this? A light fighter, right?
It is. And as such, me and Algared would probably not recommend it based on the fact that it's a light fighter and won't maximize the value.
And it's, for size, its cross section is huge because when it's in flight, it's huge. When you used to do the old Arena Commander races, it struggled to get through. You had to line it right in the middle to get through the gates because you were so big.
So it doesn't line up with the aesthetics of how racing is at the moment. So yeah, some things are going to have to change. All right, the Nox. I don't know about you guys, but I think we can knock a lot of vehicles off really quickly. We don't recommend buying them. They are so cheap in game. Just buy them in game. Now, Space, I think you would agree with us on that because you do a lot of streaming, so they're so damn dirt cheap. This thing's already in game right now at $45. That's the same price as an Aurora starter package.
Yeah.
And that's all you need to play the game. This doesn't come with the game.
Jeez, that's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, the ground vehicle prices are weird.
Yeah.
Doesn't fly in space, doesn't come with a game, and it's the price of an Aurora or a Mustang starter pack.
And hover bikes are not in a place that's worth spending money on.
Now, alternatively, the Santok Yai Space, about to come out, looks sexy as hell, I might add. What are your thoughts on this one?
It's the new goodness on the block. This one, it looks good. I just released a video with this on the thumbnail because the look of it doesn't get old. But that also, we haven't had it as long as the Cartual. So I don't know if this was around as long as the Cartual, would I be as bored with it? Maybe, maybe not. But I think the design for this ages better. And that's kind of that goes with all of their newer designs. I mean, we've seen the work they've done on this in ISC. It looks beautiful. The texturing, the detailing, all looks great. Should you buy it? No. It's a medium fighter for $220. It's an alien ship with an alien tax, and it's a combat ship in a game with a lot of combat ships.
Now, Algared, using the Raelian example, why wouldn't you buy this ship over the Raelian?
Because it's a fighter.
But the price is almost the same.
Yep, but it's a fighter. It's a one-trick pony. So it's a lovely looking ship.
There's
no interior. A medium fighter, but it's a fighter.
No interior.
No interior.
Yeah.
Yeah, the fact that this is what $5 off from the Raylin is just goes to show how they price these.
Pay $5 more, get an interior, get cargo.
It's kind of along the lines, if it's got gameplay right now, and combat gameplay is kind of really in right now, That's why it's priced so high, is because you can just take this in and just start shooting the crap out of things. Where even though cargo's in, like smuggling's not in, there's so much more gameplay to come, and that's what. And again, the Raelian actually isn't even in game yet, so that's obviously going to jump up to, well, the MSR jumped to 260 and it was 225, so I'm at least expecting a similar type of price jump. And again, this is not in game either, and we've had other fighters that jumped from 220 to 250. So
yeah, I told somebody yesterday on stream that don't purchase ships on the store. Like, don't look at don't buy them based on their price. Don't treat their price like that's what determines their value. You determine their value because you have to use the ship for whatever you want, but also the pricing is kind of nuts.
Yeah.
Buy something because you want to put that money into the game.
Yep. No, that's good advice. I think, again, when we recommend stuff here, we're recommending on trying to get the most value for your dollar that you can possibly get. This falls under the same ship, the last ship. So again, Banu Defender, it's a light fighter, not a medium fighter like the Santokii. It looks fantastic in game. It queues up with the Banu Defender, but it's just so damn expensive for what you're getting. Yeah, I love the look of this ship. I love flying it, but I cannot endorse it at $220. Algared, I think you'd agree.
Yeah, and if memory serves me right, this is actually a light fighter, not a medium fighter. It's big.
I did say light fighter.
So for me, you got the same price as a Sicilian, but
no,
a less
you
capable
mean
ship in terms of combat.
You mean the Santokii?
Yeah, Santokii. Damn, obvious. This is so.
But then again, light and medium are different. But you'd assume a light fighter would be less than a medium. Yeah, I get you.
Yeah.
Space. What about you?
Were you done now?
I was going to say, but it does have an interior, and even though it doesn't have a cargo grid, you can put cargo, and it does have a bed.
2 people as well. It is for 2 people as well. I should.
So
that's the weird thing to me is, why isn't this a medium fighter?
There's a lot of weird things about this ship up in the air too, because like they took the Sing cannons off it. Actually, they did say during CitizenCon they're going to put the Sing cannons back on it. So because this thing,
but they're going to be nerfed.
Well, no, they're going to make them work or whatever. We'll see. Because again, they just took them out initially. Like, we thought they were gone permanently, but it looks like they're coming back. So yeah, again, this will have a unique thing that makes the 2 people make sense. Because up until now, the 2 people don't make sense.
So, I used to love taking this into Arena Commander. It was
overall
gorgeous. So go on, Space.
No, I was going to say, overall with this ship, I would agree with you guys. It's clearly suffers from the same alien tax. It is all of these small ships, these alien small ships, are probably the worst way to go in the game because they have that extended price due to them being so unique. And then also they're small ships, so they don't carry their value as well as the bigger ones.
And the other thing is, there's just things behind the scenes we don't know. Like, for example, the Sulian, right, coming in at $70, that might be so readily available that it was like made for the human market, where this might only be able to be obtained in Banu space. We just don't know that, like there's just things they haven't told us. So it's kind of hard to guess what their intentions are. Are they ripping us off, or are they trying to hide something?
Oh, they're Banu. They probably are ripping us off.
Right, Banner Merchman. I originally got this for $250, so I scored. Now $650. Can you still recommend it at $650, Algared?
Look, I reckon it's going to go up as high as an 890 jump. So, in that regard, if you're after a Banu Merchantman and you really, really want one, I'd use a CCU chain to get to it. But I'd buy a CCU to that now to lock in that current price, because I think it's eventually going to go up.
You always sit on it if you're not sure, that's for sure. What's your thoughts on this one, Space? It's because it's a big one and it's long awaited. What's your thoughts?
If you really want an interstellar traveling bazaar to walk around, and you're cool with just walking around it, spend the $650. But you have no clue how this thing's going to work in game. And I think spending money for a specific type of gameplay is going to be a recipe for disappointment when we don't know how that gameplay is going to turn out. We don't know. Like, salvage is just now happening, right? People bought the Reclaimer and they're just now figuring how their Reclaimer is going to work.
Do you think shops will be that complicated though? Like, I've seen shops in other games. I would say they're not that complicated.
What I find it's really just the details. It's the questions. It's the how many ships are going to be able to dock to your merchantman so that you can have people aboard shopping. Are NPCs and players going to both be able to go there? Can other players set up shops here? And then would you be able to?
They've said that. They've said you can land on a planet and the NPCs will come up and buy stuff off you.
Yeah.
But they've said it. You know, it's different from when they actually get in and do the design brief and show us the prototype and actually have it working.
Oh, so
if you're going to spend $650, you want to know the details, right?
So subject to change is what you're saying, essentially.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Sure.
And I think that, like, if you want a bazaar, go ahead and get it. But if you're banking on the gameplay doing something specific, I would not put that kind of money into that.
So you're touching on something here that is important, because a lot of people, you can only go by the feel of all of these ships, especially when you buy them at concept, because you don't know what that final ship is going to look like. You don't know what that final gameplay is going to be like. A lot of the time we are going on their best foot forward and how we feel. It's like
what they want to do.
Yeah, some gameplay might come out and it's like a mini game or something that you just don't enjoy anymore. You know, so again, I think they are trying to make them feel like what they would be like. Look at mining; it does feel a little bit like what mining would be like in the future, and I'd hope to think that carries on for all gameplay.
Something I say a lot. Sorry, Al.
But this also does have a large amount of cargo, and it's also got the ability to carry vehicles, and it's also got a hangar. The Defender. So it's not just a one-trick pony as well. It's actually cargo hauling with that coming future bizarre gameplay.
Yeah, it's
in some ways it's a bit like an 890 jump.
I was just going to say that. Yeah.
Well, it's funny.
We don't know how that's going to work.
Me and Algared actually did an episode on this. There was actually originally a concept for an 890 jump module space. I don't know if you knew this, right? And it actually had 3 shops in it, and it was considered a shopping mall module. 3 shops, the same size as the 890 jump, and a hangar for a defender. This is that module. They essentially grew this ship into the modular version of the 890 jump. It was a ship called the Merchantman. It like the name and all that was there, so they just grew this up to be what the 890 jump was.
Well, it's a freaking cool ship. I mean, I have no doubt this is going to be a cool ship, and I think they'll get the shop stuff working. But you never know, and I think
you are gambling.
It's good to know.
You are gambling, but for me, the trust that I put in CIG all those years ago has just grown and grown and grown, because they very rarely screw you over, and they it tends to go up in value, not down. If they go up in value, they don't mind.
Yeah, regarding this whole topic, I do say on my stream a lot of times, like, you go and look at the design stuff they made 8 years ago for these gameplay things, and for a lot of times they stick to it. Like, you can tell that they're following that stuff. So you can get what they're selling, you just don't know exactly how it's going to play out. And sometimes it'll take a lot longer. Some people are very angry about how luxury passenger transport has come along so far.
All right, so these are the ones me and Algared generally don't recommend. These are the worst of the worst, the kind of Vandal, Esperia, Tavaran type stuff, right? So this is another light fighter, the Blade by the Vandal. It is actually a reproduction. It is not an actual Vandal fighter. It is a Vandal lookalike made by a human manufacturer. And at $275
for a light fighter, that's insane.
That's insane. And a lot of these fighters, like even the Scythe, when it was out, now that Scythe now sells for like $3,000-$4,000, and it's not even as good as a Hornet. A Hornet will actually beat it. It's the same thing with this. Like this is essentially the Alien Vandal reproduction of a Gladius. That's $90. So it's really overpriced for what it is. They look cool as hell. But remember, they are only reproductions. They are not the real thing.
And the Gladius in lore trumps that.
Yes.
Which is why they brought out the Scythe.
Yep.
So, it looks cool as hell. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, it does. And the new updated designs look even cooler.
Yeah.
The Squadron ones, yeah.
Absolutely. All right, so it's the same thing with most of these. So this is the Glaive. This is essentially the 2-armed version of the Scythe, where the Scythe just has 1 big arm and 1 small arm. The Glaive has 2 big ones. Again, at $350, that's a Crucible or an Endeavor, or $50 more and you're at a Reclaimer. Like there are some really big ships up there you can get, and this is a single seat fighter with no interior. That's how crazy it is. So if you like alien ships, this should not be your first ship. Put it this way, this is like your 10th or 11th ship, and even then, if you're crazy,
this is the type of ship. If you want one, buy a CCU to it.
I can tell you right now, I don't
It's not-
own any of these ships, right? So
Yeah,
that just
these
tells
are
you where I'm at on these. I don't own any of them because they,
$350.
yeah, they're just nuts. This
And that's the old design too.
yeah. So this
So
one,
they have an
so this one is really a really good one to point out. They have changed it since, but at one point, the Hoplite, which is an Aegis dropship, this is the Prowler. This is an alien Tavaran dropship. In game, this was actually less than that. And just put this in perspective, the Hoplite costs $235. So it's almost half price, and yet in game it costs more than the Prowler. So this was a really good example of the marketing team overpricing alien ships because they felt they could sell them for more when the designers were looking at something that was cheaper. So I really like to use this one as an example.
Yep. Where the in-game price was significantly cheaper. This is the one when we first said it. Paul almost had a heart attack. He said, "No way."
Yeah.
And when he checked it out, he was like,
yeah,
holding his head. It was horrifying.
And now there are. This was the first example that came out, but there are now multiple examples. Like another one space you might realize is the Reclaimer versus Hammerhead. Now the Hammerhead's $725 and the Reclaimer's $400. Yet in game the Reclaimer costs more. It's $3 million more. Why?
Because it's more valuable.
Exactly. So again, combat ships and alien ships are really overpriced. So this day is a really weird day to start out AIE because we're starting out really negative saying, don't buy any of this shit, right?
Yep.
The only ship that I really can get behind today is the Raelian and the Sulian because it's brand new and it's small and it's cheap. Everything else for me is pretty much a miss unless you're really got a link to these ships. Maybe you've got a Banu-Metchaman already and you want the Defender. They're probably the exceptions. I can't really get it behind much today. Algared,
But that's why
if you're new to the game, or you're buying a pack for someone who's new to the game, the Sulian is by far the best pack to pick up.
Yep, really
and that's
good.
why they're starting with today.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
That's all you'd need. That's all you'd need.
So we can bundle these last two together. This is the Talon Strike and the Talon. This is essentially a Tavaran reproduction. All of Tavaran ships have pretty much been lost to history, so you are not going to find. Well, maybe one day you might find a real Tavaran one, but
You might find a cache.
yeah, so I mean, you might find one in the wild, but it's going to be a long time in the actual game. But these are reproductions. They're the only way you can really get them, and they're long lost designs of the Tavaran. It is a cheaper alien ship. I do know for a little while it was a little bit in the meta, but it's really gone back to the Arrow now, and the Arrow is only $75, so it's a fair bit cheaper than this one. Space, would you kind of agree with me and Algared on that? This one's a bit of a pass just due to other ships being a bit better at the moment, or
Yeah, I mean, like I said earlier, there's so many combat ships in this game, and you get to choose based on kind of what you're looking for specifically. But I wouldn't say there's any specific reason to pick this over, say, a Gladius or a Hornet. And I'm not a combat fighter, so don't take that as combat advice. But price wise, if you're going to buy something in real life, I wouldn't jump for this one.
Even if you're looking at the size of the Shrike and the Talon to, say, an Arrow, the Arrow is significantly smaller because the tail on the Shrike and the Arrow just make it too large.
Right.
So,
there is no new alien skins that I'm aware of. I do know there are some skins for the Sulian, but I don't think there's actually any new specifically tailored at the alien. The last thing we do need to go over that I did forget to actually bring up was the CCU. And the CCU for today is there's an A1 to Santucky Eye for $5. And essentially what that does is it fills in a rare gap. And also the Santucky Eye is currently at $220, but it's more than likely going to go to at least $250 in value. So for $5, you're essentially potentially gaining like $35 in value.
And locking in that current price.
Yeah, so I'll just bring that up real quick when it decides to load, but for some reason it's not loading. So it's probably not going to work for me. I am having some weird loading issues with the site due to...
if you want a Santucky Eye, buy a Sulian standalone ship and a CCU to the Santucky Eye and fill it in credits or whatnot.
I'm not going to be able to bring that up. It's just not loading for me. So yeah, the site is still getting hammered. We're only not even an hour into the sale at this point. So yeah. All right. So yeah. So A1 to Santucky Eye, $5 is today's recommendation because it fits in this nice little rare spot. All right. With that, I think that's everything, boys. Day one under our belt. We will be trying to get a Saulian guide out to you guys as soon as possible. Other than that, we'll see you tomorrow for... Oh, who's tomorrow? Aegis, yeah? Aegis.
Yeah, someone.
Yeah.
Too early. Too early. I haven't had a coffee.
All right,
One of
Space.
those ship makers.
Where can people find you on this web, Space?
I am on, well, I'm right here. Hi. I'm also on YouTube and on a couple different YouTube channels. If you just search for Space Tomato, I'll probably come up, Space Tomato or Space Tomato 2, and I also stream on Twitch. And we have a Discord. So
yeah. Any
all the
videos?
things.
Any videos coming up from you from AIE that people should look forward to?
I will probably do a video about the alien ships. I just released a video about tractor beams with 321.1, and then the next thing I'll do after that, I don't really know. I have a couple ideas, but not sure what I'm going to do yet.
All right. With that, then, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell. And thank you to all the people at the end of the video at the credits for going that extra mile on Patreon. He's been Space Tomato. He's been Algared.
And he's been Execute, and we're out of here. Take
Catch
care.
you next one. Bye.